What is up, YouTube? This is AVAULT here, back in today with you guys another new Speed Duel deck profile video, and today we're featuring something much more competitive, much more powerful and top tier than before, because right here just really cool, really powerful and consistent deck that I really want to share with you guys, and that is the Gravekeeper burn deck. And you guys saw the Speed Duel match the other day. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to check that out as well. Very powerful control, very fast, very consistent overall once again. But anyways, before we go right into the deck profile, once again we're just going to do our quick card sleeve review. We're going to use the simple holographic blue OCG Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves just for this deck profile, just because, you know, blue is one of my favorite colors and I just felt like this deck was really good, and just why not. But anyways, quick shout out that if you guys are interested in some of the sleeves that I do showcase in the channel, and some interested in some of the exclusive artwork OCG sleeves, be sure to check out the AVAULT eBay store in the link description down below. We ship worldwide, internationally, anywhere, so really appreciate your support if you guys, you know, would like to purchase some of them. But anyways, right here with our skill, we are playing Yami Marek, Twisted Personality. We all know what the skill does by now, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. It stacks up counters very quickly in this deck whatsoever. So since we're playing Gravekeepers, of course our main key engine is we do have to play triple Gravekeepers Recruiter. It's your searcher, and that's basically it. You need to search. Next, more interestingly, I would like to talk about is we're playing triple Gravekeeper's Curse. Now, we all know this has been the longevity or the face of Gravekeeper burn decks ever since it started. But really also wanted to mention that used to, in previous formats and previous metas, we would be playing Gravekeeper's Ambusher. I feel like essentially Gravekeeper's Curse totally replaces Gravekeeper's Ambusher in this current meta and format. Now, that does lead into that we're not playing any Ambushers and we don't need it. You guys might be confused because it's such a good stat monster, 1700 beater, pretty decent. I mean, 0 defense, it's okay, but you know, very powerful for Gravekeepers. Why would you not need that anymore? Well, that's because this deck is able to win with a completely different type of condition in today's meta. And I will dig deeper and tell you guys in detail as we go along. But we do play one Gravekeeper's Oracle. Now, once again, before in the older decks, we would be playing at least 2. I mean, actually 2 is a sweet number. You wouldn't play 3, but 2 is much more preferable than 1. This is because you want to see it accessible as soon as possible. You want to be popping your opponent's face down monsters. You want to be making them losing attack. Regardless, and you do all the shenanigans with oracles as much as you can, and 1 wasn't enough because you always need to easily hit the second one to ensure your win condition from there and start beating your opponent down. But 1 in this deck is really good. That's all you need. You don't need to play a second one unless if it's a very specific scenario. But the reason why we only need 1 is because mostly in the case you're able to win the game even without Oracle. But Oracle is just a still very powerful card that you just can't miss out overall. Next, there's one more Gravekeeper monster we do play, which is Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder. I did mention that we didn't really get to see it in action, but it is very clutch, very useful. You simply tribute 1 Gravekeeper monster and your opponent and inflict 700 damage to your opponent. Now, 700 damage may not seem a lot, but because of this entire deck, it burns off your opponent's life points bit by bit. That 700 becomes very significant later on, and it can really help you in some clutch situations. That's why I highly recommend at least 1, and it also is a really good Allure of Darkness target, just so you don't have to pitch away these useful cards right here, I guess, in a way. Next, we do play 2 Newdorias right here. Very heavy monster lineup. This is really good because it allows you to pop a monster at your choice, unlike Yomi Ship before, which you do have to pop the attacking monster that destroyed it by battle. But you can pop any monster with this card right here, and it also works very well by mixing it up with Recruiter. Now, before, you know, used to you would be playing Blast Sphere, but I think Newdoria is just straight up better, simply because you can target a different monster and you can play mind games with your opponent by making them think whether you're setting a Recruiter or Newdoria, which really makes them pressures them and makes them think twice before attacking into your monster overall. So same idea overall, and I really recommend at least 2. Some of you guys might want to play 3, which is totally fine. But last but not least, for one more monster, we play 1 Mask of Darkness. You guys will probably understand why, because we play a heavy trap card deck right here, and grabbing those trap cards back with this tech card for this deck is just extremely helpful overall. So that basically rounds off all the monsters in the deck, and we are going to move on to the spells. So for spells, we're only playing 2 spells, 2 Allures of Darknesses. Now, 2 Allure of Darkness is just really, really good because of its draw power. I have mentioned and stressed about how good this card is, even in the regular TCG format, and people will always play 3. Now, for Speed Duels, I would say 2 is like the sweet number, depending on how many number of cards in your deck you're playing. Now, just so you guys know, we are playing 24 cards in this deck, and I feel like you only really need to run 3 in 2 conditions. One is that the deck really lacks draw power, and you really need the Allure of Darkness to draw into many cards in order to pull off your combos. Then you would be playing 3, or otherwise, if your deck has 30 cards, then I would recommend 3 Allure of Darknesses. But 2 is really sweet. You don't need 1. I wouldn't recommend 1. But in some decks you can run 1 only, but 2 is just a really great number, like once again, just because it helps you get your draw power back. It really helps out, as you guys saw from the Speed Duel match, that it even helps us even when we're going first overall, and it's just a card that you just can't ignore. You just have to play it. So that rounds up for the spells. Moving on to our traps, we play 2 Rite of Spirits. Used to play 3, but you only need 2 nowadays. Because you want to save space for the other powerful meta traps in the deck overall. But once again, standard combo, if Recruiter is sent to the graveyard, search your Oracle, use Rite of Spirit, bring back your Recruiter, tribute it to bring out your Oracle from there on. But also you can option to choose to bring out Gravekeeper's Curse and even Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder in specific situations where you're just 500 life points short and you just want to shave off that for the game winning condition right there. Now moving on to our meta trap standard, we are playing triple Nightmare Wheel. Really powerful card. Now some of you guys might be wondering, isn't Mask of the Accursed better, or isn't essentially the same thing? Yes and no. It does work. It is basically another Mask of the Curse. First of all, no, is because it's a trap card, and since it's a trap card, it allows you to come off really great when you're going first. And also it makes it a really good counter card. Now with Mask of the Curse, you can only play it during your turn, but since Nightmare Wheel, once you set it and then passing after the next turn, you can use it during either player's turn, which is essentially a speed spell too. Really good. Once again, matches very well with Mask of the Darkness, so that you can grab it back with it as well. Next, Zoma, insanely powerful card. Just brings out an 1800 beater in defense position as well, so you really good for countering your opponent during their battle phase, so you don't take any damage, just in case if they do control a monster with high attack, and also inflicting the damage of the opponent's monster back. Now this is really good against Moth decks, as we know, because Moths do not run into Zomas whatsoever, simply because the opponent will be taking that damage right back in their faces instead. So that's the reason why you have to play 3 of these once again. And then last but not least, we're playing triple Dust Tornado. Since you guys can see how heavy back row this meta is, almost many decks are playing Nightmare Wheels and Zomas, or at least one or the other, or even both. Dust Tornado is really key and really important because it helps you pop those 2 cards. It can even help you pop Zoma the Spirit even when it's a monster. Just so you guys know, the reason is because you special summon this card in defense position as an effect monster, and then however it says in brackets, this card is still a trap. So however, with Dust Tornado, why it's so much better than all the other back row removal cards, because you target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy. It doesn't specify it has to be in a spell and trap card zone. It can be a spell and trap anywhere in any zone and basically destroy it. So basically this rounds up the entire main deck with 24 cards. Once again, just so you guys know, it's really interesting to see that many decks in this current format, you no longer see standard 20 card decks anymore. You start to see a little bit more like 21, 22s, 24 decks, and even potentially 30 card decks, simply because cards are being able to search with search and draw power are much more consistent nowadays, and you actually do want more of those cards in your deck overall, which I really like. I really like this format, how it basically brought 24 cards up in this deck. And once again, because of Recruiter and because of Allure of Darkness, you're digging very quickly into your deck, so you don't want to lose your resources too soon, otherwise it might be game over for you in there before you even get to the late game. So now moving into the side deck, we are playing 1 more Gravekeeper's Oracle. Now I did mention that there's no need to play 2. Well, there's no need to play 2 in your starting deck, And simply because why you want to play a second one is because lava golems is definitely an issue. Sometimes you need to tribute summon monsters, and you still need to counter some kind of traps, spells, like Mask of a Curse or Nightmare Wheels by tributing your monsters so that you can bring out a second Oracle, just so that you can break free from that, from one of those typical situations. That's why you would play one in the side deck, depending on your matchup overall. Next, we do play one Lava Golem. Lava Golem is really, really great, really powerful in terms of the burn damage. 1,000 life points is just absolutely insane. There's many situations you can easily just game your opponent from there by giving them a Lava Golem, and they have less than 1,000 life points left and basically pitch off. It's also really good for removing annoying monsters that your opponent has face up on the field, such as Zoma, for example. Next, we do play one Golden Ladybug. This is a very interesting card, but it's basically essentially a counter to any other decks that do play Nightmare Wheel and Mask of the Curse by any chance. It basically helps you even out the life point loss that you have, and it comes in really, really handy situations. And knowing that the current meta, many people are definitely playing Nightmare Wheel, this is a really good key answer card to counter Nightmare Wheel. Next, we do play one DD Crow. Did mention it before, there's still some graveyard decks that go around along that do have graveyard effects. You definitely want to play DD Crow, just so you want to banish those targets, so you stop your opponent from using any graveyard effects if you do encounter those type of decks. Next, one Offerings to the Doom. Great card just to remove any annoying monster that is very, very key and very important. Can completely change the tide of the game, and simply with just one play of this card. Really great, also because it's a quick play spell. Last but not least, we do play one Jaw of Avarice in a situation that you do face against a matchup that seems to be very difficult and it seems to be a little bit more stally than usual, and you know that your deck is thinning out much faster than they are. Jaw of Avarice is always a good answer card within the side deck, I personally feel, even in still current meta, and I still highly recommend this card as a side deck card. Not always as a main deck card, only depends on a very, very specific decks sometimes. In this deck, you don't need to. Since you have 24 cards, you don't need to be recurring your resources too much, unless, once again, I mentioned against you in a very, very specific matchup that has proven and you have experience, making that you understand that that matchup seems to be a little bit hard and it seems to be dragging the game a little bit long and grindy overall. And then last but not least, once again, we do play, I guess, an extra deck, but, you know, there's no purpose in this extra deck at all. So just grab, once again, any 6 fusion monsters and make yourself an extra deck. Just so, once again, as I emphasized and always stressed about that, to let your opponent know that you potentially might be looking to get into it overall. But anyways, that rounds up for this entire deck profile. What do you guys think? If you guys like it, be sure to comment down below. What do you guys like about it? What cards you guys like to add? What cards what you guys might even suggest to further improve this deck? This deck is really, really powerful right now. Definitely tournament worthy for you guys who are looking for competitive play, and perfect for you guys who are looking for a competitive deck to bring into speed duels and learn how to take to the next level for sure. Be sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the AVAULT channel for more awesome and epic speed duel content. Once again, really appreciate the support. Really, really appreciate it if you guys could share the channel with some friends or families, with whoever basically loves Yu-Gi-Oh and speed duels just as much as you do, and really have them check out the channel and subscribe as well. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for next videos, new videos coming out. Definitely want to see more deck. I would definitely want to make more videos of this deck in action, especially against another meta deck. So be sure to stay tuned for that as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. We'll see you in the next video. And this is AVAULT signing out.